Hi, I'm Cliff.
And I'm Cheryl.
And this is Closer to Happy.
We recently relocated to Spain to find a more balanced life, and we love it.
Including the healthcare that we are just learning about in real time. So today we're going to talk about a real-world healthcare comparison between the US and Spain.
When I was in the US for my annual physical exam, it took me about 4 months to get an appointment. My doctor spent about 10 to 15 minutes with me and ordered basic labs and a mammogram. That was it. Yesterday, I had my physical exam in Spain, and let me just tell you, it was something completely different. I called the clinic, actually got an appointment for a physical the next day.
Okay, and that right there is bizarre.
Bizarre.
Yeah.
I couldn't even believe it. I was like, wait, what? Like, what? Tomorrow? Okay, fine. Went in, met with the doctor. Now, it was a different experience than a typical US doctor's office in that I got there, checked in. I had to wait in the line to check in, was given a number and assigned to a room number. It was a woman who was very young, but very smart. So I met with her, said I needed to get a physical, it's time for my annual exam. She immediately starts writing on these slips of paper and handing them to me. And I looked, and she had ordered a breast ultrasound and a mammogram, an abdominal ultrasound, an EKG, and a very, very comprehensive panel for blood work.
And by the way, Cheryl was not brought in on a stretcher. This was just her going in to set up having a doctor to basically be able to go to once we're here, you know, kind of setting the bar.
I was incredulous and said, I can't believe that you're giving me, ordering an ultrasound in addition to the mammogram. And she said, oh, well, of course, because there are certain things that a mammogram will miss that an ultrasound will pick up, and vice versa. So we want to be comprehensive. And the incredible thing was, when I went to the front desk with my slips, they scheduled all but one of my tests for the next day. I couldn't believe it.
Okay, here's another side of the coin. I was in the US just a few weeks ago and went to a follow-up appointment for some eye surgery I had had like 8 months ago or something. I had to book those appointments months and months and months in advance. However, when I got there, they had booked 2 different eye appointments with this doctor who was about 45 minutes away from me, one day apart from the next appointment. So I had to go back the next day. I had to wait for a very long time to get in to see the doctor. Then I actually saw the doctor's assistant, not the actual doctor, who gave me a once-over and said the doctor would come in and see me, and then I had to wait for that, blah, 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 blah. The point of the matter is, this was months in the works to get the appointment in the US. She got it the next day.
So inefficient. It's so inefficient.
Yeah, it
The
is.
US system is really inefficient.
I've heard so many people, including me in the past, say that, well, US healthcare is the best healthcare in the world, and doctors that make a lot of money in the US would never be in another country because they'll make less money there. Therefore, the best healthcare system is in the US. But the reality is, their goal is to get as many people in and out of that office as they can during that day.
At the end of the day, there are a lot of really caring doctors who will spend time with you, but the system isn't set up to support that. So it's not about the doctors as much as it is the system.
Exactly right.
That is set up to ensure that they are limited in the amount of time they can spend with you, limited in the quality and quantity of care that they can provide.
Right.
And I think that's really the bigger issue. And yes, does it come down to money at the end of the day? Yeah, it does. It definitely comes down to money. And that's a key difference between US and at least Spanish healthcare.
The doctors here are looking to take care of you holistically and to find anything that could be wrong with you. So if there's anything that needs to be looked into further, they would recommend a specialist. But they actually are not there to make as much money as they can. They're there to take care of the person in front of them. And I don't know if necessarily every great doctor would choose the American healthcare system to work in. It's very stressful, and you get very little time to actually connect with people and do the work that you start wanting to do to become a doctor. So I challenge what I used to think, and I challenge what people say about there's only good healthcare in the US. I do not believe that to be true.
No. I mean, just the fact that they were so proactive.
Yeah.
You know, for example, the only time I've ever been offered an ultrasound is if they think there's something wrong on a mammogram. And that's really not the way to approach it. And I've certainly never been offered a preemptive abdominal ultrasound. So, I mean, imagine how many lives that could save if we were to do that in the US.
They wait until things are very bad before they do anything. And that is a very big difference, I think.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to give the caveat that we have private health insurance here. It's a prerequisite for us to have our visa, our NLV visa. I believe that's true also for digital nomad visa as well. I'd like to point out that in comparison, when I went in to do all of my diagnostics, it took about 15 minutes from start to finish for everything. They booked them back to back to back. They were so efficient. I think, honestly, like the slowest part of yesterday was like deciding which cafe to go to. By all accounts, their public healthcare system is also really good, but they do have longer wait times.
Right.
So we are very, very fortunate to have private insurance.
In Spain, we pay 5,000 euros per year for both of us. That's no deductible, no copay, and our prescriptions average around 10 euros each. That's like the cost of a latte. And that's it. There's nothing else. Conversely, in America, there are 100 million people that are in medical or dental debt of some kind. And there is a huge issue with medical bankruptcy in the US.
And in Spain, that is completely unheard of.
Yep, unheard of.
It just doesn't exist. Anyone, because of their universal health care, everyone is entitled to medical care, and medical care that is affordable and accessible. So yesterday, when I was talking to the ultrasound tech, she was telling me a story of one of her friends who was in the US studying, had a serious medical issue, went to the ER, and before they could be seen, they had to get their credit card approved and cleared. And there was an issue because it was a foreign credit card. And they let them sit in the waiting room almost dying until they got pre-authorization on the credit card. Now, first of all, that's illegal in the US.
But it's happening.
But it happens. And they could not believe that. It would never happen here. So again, superior healthcare system? Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah. People think we're joking when we talk about medical bankruptcy and these kind of stories. They think it's not even real because they can't even get their head around that a country would actually let their people like do that. So this is a different world over here. It is definitely kinder and gentler in the medical realm.
In, I think, almost every other realm, too.
Yeah, that's true. Don't get me wrong. In the U.S., world-class doctors are everywhere. And we come from San Diego. There are amazing doctors in San Diego. But for most people, the system makes it so it's very stressful and very expensive to access those doctors.
Okay, in Spain, quality access and affordability of healthcare are so much better than Americans are led to believe.
That's true.
And right?
Yeah.
And I think that's because of our US-centric point of view.
Yeah, we are the center of the world.
Yeah.
Until you go out into the world and you realize there's other things to see. Now, to be fair, our experience is limited in this because Cheryl just went in yesterday for this appointment. However, we have a lot of friends here now, and our friends have lived here for many years, and the stories that they tell are all unanimously positive about the experience with the healthcare system.
It's true.
So it's just something to be aware of, guys. Like, what they tell you is not necessarily what's real.
Yep.
Case in point, we've always been told US healthcare is the best, but the numbers tell a different story. In Spain, life expectancy is nearly 83 years. In the US, it's only 76.
And dropping, by the way.
Nice, that makes me happy.
Nice. For mothers, Spain averages 3 deaths per 100,000 births, and in the US, it's up to 30. It's 10 times higher.
And here's the real mic drop, preventable deaths. Spain loses about 147 lives per 100,000 that could have been avoided. In the US, it's nearly 272, almost double.
And that's from things like diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and certain cancers.
All avoidable. So when it comes to outcomes that matter, living longer, healthier lives, Spain outperforms the US. I'm sorry guys, the numbers don't lie.
Healthcare is personal, but I have to say that our experience so far in Spain has been fast, affordable, and really caring.
Right.
And for me, that provides a huge amount of peace of mind.
Right. It is really nice to know that you have access to literally anything that you could possibly need right here.
Yeah.
So that's a wonderful feeling.
And it won't bankrupt you. My insurance was crazy. I paid $1,200 a month. I had a $4,500 deductible, and 20% copay, and I think on average, I don't really take any medication, but on average, the average American spends about $1,400 a year out of pocket. So I'm spending 15 grand just on insurance, and then I still have to spend another 4,500 to get to the place where I've met my deductible.
Right, the deductibles kill you.
Yeah, and then I still have to pay a percentage of any procedures. So at the end of the day, the insurance is really disaster insurance. You're spending
Right.
so much money for disaster insurance.
And if they do pay, they make you battle for it. It takes so many phone calls and so many hours to try to get them to actually pay the insurance.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, what's been your healthcare experience, either at home or abroad, that you can share? Let us know. And if you found this helpful, like, subscribe, and yeah, we'll see you in the emergency room.
No, we won't. Ciao.
Ciao.